Have you ever wondered why certain things in our lives are decided by a small group of people? Why are some decisions, trends, or rules shaped by the preferences of just a few? This phenomenon is often attributed to what Nassim Nicholas Taleb calls maximally intolerant minorities. But who are they and how do they impose their taste on the rest of us? Let's dive deep into this fascinating concept and explore its impact on our daily lives. Do maximally intolerant minorities truly run the world? Who exactly falls under this group? How do they impose their preferences on the majority? And what are some examples of this influence in our daily lives? Introduction to maximally intolerant minorities. Maximally intolerant minorities refer to small groups of people who hold strong, uncompromising preferences or beliefs and are unwilling to tolerate anything outside their worldview. Their intolerance forces others to adapt to their demands, often leading to systemic changes that impact everyone. This group's influence is not rooted in numbers but in their unwavering stance and refusal to compromise. How do they impose their taste on us? The rule of inflexibility. When a small group refuses to accept alternatives, the majority often complies simply to avoid conflict or inconvenience. Over time, their preferences become the default standard, economic and social leverage. These minorities often exert disproportionate influence by controlling key institutions, markets, or social narratives. Their power lies in shaping policies, practices, or trends that others find difficult to resist. Cultural domination. Through persistent advocacy, media presence, or activism, they embed their ideas into societal norms, creating a ripple effect that forces others to conform. Examples of maximally intolerant minorities in action: food industry and halal certification. In many countries, a small segment of the population demands that food products adhere to specific dietary laws, such as halal certification. Even though this group may be a minority, producers often adopt these standards universally to cater to them, as it's easier than creating separate production lines. Tech and privacy policies. Tech companies often bow to the demands of vocal minority groups that advocate for stringent privacy standards or certain content moderation policies. These changes impact everyone who uses these platforms. Environmental movements, activist groups advocating for sustainability or veganism, though a minority, have significantly influenced global food production, packaging, and lifestyle trends. Educational content. Minority groups demanding changes to school curricula, such as removing certain books or including specific historical narratives, can reshape what millions of students learn. Cultural sensitivity in media. Entertainment industries often revise content, from movies to advertisements, to avoid offending small but vocal groups, setting new standards for what's acceptable. Impact on society. While the influence of maximally intolerant minorities can sometimes lead to positive outcomes, such as increased awareness of environmental or ethical issues, it can also create tensions. Many feel that their preferences or freedoms are being overridden by a minority's uncompromising demands. A thought-provoking question. Is this influence a form of progress, ensuring inclusivity and ethical standards? Or does it undermine the freedom and preferences of the majority? The answer may depend on the context and your perspective. Conclusion. Maximally intolerant minorities remind us of the power of conviction and persistence. Whether we agree with their influence or not, they show that a small, determined group can drive significant change. As individuals, we must decide when to adapt and when to stand firm against the tide of intolerance, because ultimately, the balance between progress and freedom lies in our collective hands. Call to action. What do you think about the role of maximally intolerant minorities? Have you experienced their influence in your life? Share your thoughts and let's spark a meaningful conversation about how we shape the world around us.